Good morning, everyone. Welcome to week 13. Sorry I did not get a chance to post this yesterday. I was in meetings, and when I wasn't in meetings, I was trying to finish the essays. So busy day. But here we are, week 13. We only have 4 weeks left, folks. Do you know that? This week, next week, and then 2 weeks in December, and that's it. December 10th is our last day of class. So it's going to go by so fast. I feel like this is the time where we all need to buckle our seatbelts and just kind of take a deep breath, kind of muscle our way through. A couple of quick announcements before I walk you through the module. Essay number 2 is finished. If you did not get a chance to watch the video that I posted last night, please do that, especially if you received an incomplete and you're like, Miller, I do not understand why I received an incomplete. Chances are I may have answered that question for you. You can find the video in the announcements here. You can also find it in Pronto. I sent that out last night. All right. What I'm going to do for the module this week is, instead of kind of clicking through page by page, I'm going to show you what's in the module this week and kind of walk you through that. I put the revising essay number 2 page on your to-do list today, mainly so that way you can read it and really make some decisions about essay number 2. You'll find that there's a question in the third quarter reflection that's due by the end of this week that is also asking you if you plan on revising. The reason why I'm pushing that revision conversation is, again, we only have 4 weeks left. So here we are, week 13. You've got essay number 2 back, and you're starting to do some organizing and brainstorming, pre-writing, drafting maybe on essay number 3. What I absolutely recommend is, if you are planning on revising essay 2, get it done this week. I cannot emphasize that enough. Next week I will not be holding conferences. I have a virtual conference to attend, and then we have the Thanksgiving holiday at the end of the week, so I will be available all week via email. But if you want to meet to conference about the revision, do that this week. The revision is due the week after Thanksgiving, but that week is also when essay number 3 is due. Essay number 3 isn't due until the very end of the week, so that very first weekend of December is when essay number 3 is due. The revision will be due the early part of that week, but trust me, you don't want to be working on both of those at the same time, especially because essay number 3 is kind of a high stakes essay. You can't revise that, right? So I really want all of your attention focused on that and really try to make it your best essay. I will have just a glut of conferences available that week, so you'll be able to meet with me multiple times if you want. But for the revision, I strongly encourage you to meet this week and to get it done if you plan on revising. The last thing I'll say about the revision, and again, I feel like I kind of have reiterated this in a variety of places, but if you received an incomplete on essay number 2, then you must revise if you plan on trying to pass 221. You cannot pass with an incomplete essay. You can have a complete essay, which means you've met all the requirements. That might not be passing, but it has to be complete. So again, just to kind of remind you of those rules. All right, so our module, here's our essay assignment here. Again, just to kind of remind you what you can expect for the essay 3. The rough draft, this page just kind of talks about what you can expect for next week. I'm not going to be giving feedback on this draft with the Thanksgiving holiday. There just is not time for me to give feedback on everybody's draft. That's why I'm really pushing the conferences this week and the week after. The week after Thanksgiving. But again, I'm available all week next week via email. We have 5 different readings this week. I think they're all really interesting. Neil deGrasse Tyson, I think that he just kind of broadens that whole conversation about what does it mean when we're divided as a country and we're living on a planet, right? So just kind of gives us a little bit more context, I think is important. Perception gap, for those of you who liked the Hidden Tribes activity from last week, then I would encourage you to check out Perception Gap. It's the same parent company and organization that put that together, and they did another one called Perception Gap that I think is equally as interesting. And then for those folks who like the deep data dive, take a look at what the Pew Research Center has to say about the partisan divide. The musings about the readings. I am really enjoying reading these, especially the conversation that's happening. So for those of you who are not really sure where you want to go with your essay, I would encourage you to go back and take a look at the discussion boards from the last couple of weeks. You know, you've got some really provocative things to say about the readings and then in conversation with each other. And so just to kind of get your own juices flowing, I would encourage you to look at the discussion boards. Again, the essay progress, this time I'm asking you to reply to each other so that you can kind of help each other and give each other suggestions and say, oh, have you thought about this reading? Have you thought about this? Again, to kind of start that conversation since the rough draft is due next week. You have writing territory number 13 due by Friday, and then your third quarter of the semester reflection is due by the end of the week also. All right, extra credit. You have a bunch this week. You have the Hidden Miller, which I love the Hidden Miller. You have the grammar log, and you have this discussion board called Why Facts Don't Matter, which I think is really interesting to think about. Like, where do we get our news, and how is that kind of affecting our own kind of participation in our democracy, right? And maybe kind of to ask yourself, like, what are you doing, right, as part of that process? So I think that this is a really provocative article. And again, all of the extra credit is due by Sunday. So that takes us to the end of the week. Again, big highlights, revise number 2, yes or no. And then read, pre-write, brainstorm. I see on the essay progress that a lot of folks are kind of diving into the writing, and I would just strongly encourage you to make sure that you're organizing your thinking, right? I think it would be just not a good use of your time if you did a bunch of the writing and then decided, oh, well, that's not really what I want to say at all. You want to do a lot of that thinking beforehand, right? Do the thinking before. I know pre-writing gets a bad rap, but I absolutely think that if you're able to kind of sketch out your ideas and figure out what you want your paragraphs to be about, where you want your evidence to come from, then your overall essay is going to be that much stronger. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Reminder from your friendly English teacher. I have student hours today, pronto hours tomorrow, student hours on Thursday. Come and see me if you have any questions. Reach out via email. I'm here to help you, and I am happy to support you in whatever way that I can, but you got to keep me in the loop. So to that end, I hope you all have a good day, a good week, and hopefully we'll talk soon.